So the last thing I want to talk about before I head back into the school for my break, um, one thing I can say I don't want to say regret, but I wish I had really had more of an open mind and listened to was when my husband wanted to homeschool our daughters. Um, Me being who I was then, definitely felt like there's no way I would be able to homeschool my children. I don't have the patience to deal with that. I don't have the mindset to deal with that. I didn't have any of the tools necessary to deal with having my children at home all day with me, which sounds crazy, because as a parent, you should have the capacity to be able to deal with your children all day. I mean, they're yours. You know what I'm saying? You created them. So if you can't deal with them, how can you expect anybody else to be able to deal with them and handle them, right? So I really wish I had listened to him with that. I do have some friends that have homeschooled their children, and I just see the difference in them academically and also in like their thought processes and things of that nature. It's not too late, to homeschool the younger two, because they do still have some schooling years ahead of them. So it is something that is definitely a thought. But working in education, you get to see how early on children are taught to be, I don't know if I want to say institutionalized, but they're taught to be put on a path, right? That's going to lead them to their adulthood. Because if you think about it, you start off in school. Let's just say you start in preschool at like 2 years old, 3 years old, right? You're taught to follow a regimen, a schedule, right? And so very seldom do you deviate from that schedule. So from 2 years old all the way up through high school, you're taught to follow a regimented schedule. You go to lunch the same time every day. You go to recess the same time every day. You get up, you have to be at school the same time every day. You get out of school the same time every day. That's training you to go into the workforce when you think about it. It's training you to go into the workforce and to work for other people. It's not training you to be an independent thinker. It's not training you to be your own person, to follow your own passions, your own dreams, to motivate yourself. It's training you to help somebody else's dream become a reality. So you go through these years of schooling, then you go to college, and then you get this idea that I go to college and I get my degree, and then I can get me a good job working for somebody else's corporation, helping to make them rich. Whereas the person who you working for probably didn't even go to college. Some of these people don't even have more than a high school education running these corporations and these companies, right? So never really paid attention to that before being in the actual school setting and in classrooms and seeing how these children are trained and indoctrinated from a young age to think in a certain capacity and to learn a certain way and to do things a certain way. And I'm not knocking it. It is necessary, but I think some people do need to break away from that, because it's, how do I want to say? It's just creating a bunch of minions, so to speak. It's just creating a bunch of minions. And so I see the children that struggle with following the regimens and struggle with the schedules and, having to sit still for so long, or having to do this for so long, or having to do that. And I imagine they're going to be the ones that probably think and live outside the box as they get older, because they're not adapting unless they're forced to adapt. You know what I'm saying? So just something to think about. I will put out there that if you are able to homeschool your children, I think you should do it. I think it would be a great opportunity, a great investment, and just great for your children. So that's one thing that I definitely wish I would have listened to and would have done differently from the beginning with my oldest daughter. So y'all let me know your thoughts on it. Talk to you later. Cole's Porch.